After the revelation of Roxy Zebec, there's something that hasn't stopped being talked about on social media: the possibility that Buggy is his son. Does this make sense? Well, actually, it does. And it even connects to the mysterious treasure of Captain John that Buggy was searching for. I have an idea of what it could be, and today, you're going to find out. Hello everyone, Nakamas, and welcome to a new One Piece theory. Roxy Zebec is the father of Blackbeard. However, this Yonko doesn't carry the surname Rox, but Marshall. This means that Teach did the same thing Ace did. He took his mother's surname. There was a clear parallel between Ace and Blackbeard, but we didn't realize it at the time. It's obvious that Oda uses many parallels between characters in his work, and we can use those as clues to theorize. There are three characters who are very closely connected: Shanks, Buggy, and Teach. Coincidentally, the three Yonkos alongside Luffy. In a way, Shanks and Buggy are parallels, two orphaned boys who ended up as Roger's apprentices. But Shanks and Teach can also be seen as parallels. They lead opposing crews, and Oda has been hinting for a long time that they'll eventually face off. So we're missing the final corner of the triangle, the parallel between Buggy and Teach. These two could very well be brothers. Most likely they had the same father Zebec, but different mothers. This is just like what happened with Harold, who had Hadrudin with one woman, and Loki with another. And of course, Oda put Harold on equal footing in this flashback, so again, using the logic of parallels, we can theorize that Zebec did the same a child with each mother. In short, Buggy would be Roxy Buggy. You can be sure that since Buggy is one of Oda's favorite characters, he's going to give him a lot of importance in the story, almost as much as Shanks and Blackbeard. The fact that we don't know Buggy's last name is for a reason. In fact, we know almost nothing about him. We already know that Shanks is the son of Figelin Garling, but we know nothing about Buggy. So using the parallel again, it would make perfect sense if he too were the son of someone from God Valley, but from the opposing side to Garling. I don't believe Oda would leave the Rock surname unused forever. And seeing as Teach uses his mother's surname, it would make perfect sense for us to see another character in the present carrying the name Roxy as well. In fact, there are several clues that support this idea, like the fact that Zebec's bounty poster looks strikingly similar to Buggy's, or even the fact that Teach and Buggy share the same blood type. But there's yet another parallel between Blackbeard and Buggy, something else that links them. As you already know, Hachinosu was the pirate island that Roxy Zebec once ruled, a skull-shaped island that was highly valuable because it hid many treasures. There was a massive gold vein there, which attracted countless criminals. One of them was the infamous Captain John, a greedy pirate who was once part of Zebec's crew, and who is said to have hidden a great treasure before his death. Currently, the island Hachinosu has become Blackbeard's target. He's successfully conquered it, just like his father once did. But it's interesting how, through the use of parallels, another person, without even realizing it, was also after that island. Of course, I'm talking about Buggy. Both of Zebec's sons were looking for Hachinosu, only Blackbeard found the real one, and Buggy ended up at the fake one. What do I mean by that? Well, it's very likely that Captain John hid his treasure on the real pirate island Hachinosu. We know that one of Buggy's dreams is to find Captain John's treasure, so his true target should have been that island. However, the fool Buggy ended up on the wrong Hachinosu. In other words, another skull-shaped island. His only clue was that the treasure was hidden inside a legendary cave on a skull-shaped island, which is why we saw him digging there. Why would Oda bother drawing those random panels? Obviously, it was another parallel with Hachinosu and Blackbeard. Later on in Thriller Bark, the place where Captain John's corpse was found, Luffy ended up keeping a crystal bracelet. A bit later, in Impel Down, Buggy realized that the bracelet Luffy was carrying was actually a map leading to Captain John's treasure. However, he never found it. Why? There's a reason, and it's funnier than you might think. Keep in mind that everything related to Buggy tends to be more comedic in tone. Oda hasn't forgotten about this whole treasure subplot that Buggy longs for. Everything has been set up and interconnected. The conclusion to all of this is going to be the revelation that Buggy is the son of Zebec. According to what Oda mentioned in an SBS, Captain John was a very greedy man who didn't want to share his treasure, and because of that, he was killed by his own crewmates. However, Oda really enjoys crafting situations in One Piece where people judge characters based on appearances, only for us to realize later that we had a completely wrong perception of them, or that, at least in certain moments, they didn't act the way people assumed. The plot twist here would be that, in this case, Captain John actually protected the mysterious treasure for a reason beyond his greed. It wasn't jewels or gold like everyone believed, including Buggy, but something far more important, something for which Captain John gave his life to protect at the request of someone. And that someone was his captain, Roxy Zebec. As I mentioned earlier, everything revolves around parallels. If Shanks was found inside a chest that Roger took from God Valley, then why wouldn't the same happen with the other orphaned apprentice? Indeed, sometime after God Valley, On another island, Roger discovered another baby inside a treasure chest. That baby was Buggy. Many of you are probably already thinking it. That chest was Captain John's treasure. This pirate had to protect Zebec's child after his death. He probably promised him. Other pirates thought that John was hiding riches, and maybe he was, but inside that chest was also the baby of his friend. He gave his life to protect him. Eventually, Roger found that chest and took in Buggy, who was raised alongside Shanks as an apprentice. The funniest part of this entire story isn't that Buggy is actually looking for his father's treasure. He's unknowingly looking for himself. Buggy himself is the treasure of Captain John, and the poor guy has no idea. He insists on chasing after some grand trove of gold and jewels, when the real treasure has been right under his nose the entire time, literally. This would be the perfect ending for the most meme-worthy character in One Piece. Oda is a master troll, and this entire subplot about Captain John's treasure will be used to reveal that Buggy is actually Rock's D. Buggy, the other son of Zebec. And to make it even more ironic, I think the best possibility for Zebec's devil fruit is that it was the Bara Bara no Mi, in other words Buggy's fruit. Coincidentally, the fruit ended up in the hands of his own son, just one of those twists of fate. And that's where this theory ends. Let me know in the comments if you liked it or if you think it's too far-fetched. Maybe it's a wild theory, but you can't deny. It would be hilarious if Captain John's treasure, the treasure Buggy has been chasing for so long, was Buggy himself. Just imagine the face Buggy would make when he found out, and the disappointment that would follow. Honestly, now any other explanation for Captain John's treasure would feel less satisfying. I really hope Oda goes for this troll reveal. That's all for now. Leave a like if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Take care, and see you soon.